Was Christmas enough? Was Christmas enough to save the day or save the year and point us to a more hopeful future? I still remember a year a long time ago when I was wondering if Christmas would be enough and hoping it would be. I was waiting for all the despair within me to lift and was looking for Christmas to do that for me, the celebration of Christmas. But there was still a gnawing ache in me after that Christmas morning was unwrapped and put away for another year. And I wondered, would it ever be a better day? And I was barely hanging on in that time. I think we all recognize that there is a darkness in the world, but there's also a darkness within us. There are battles that we face within. There are battles that we are fighting that no one else can see. Wars we fight against loneliness or boredom or insecurity. Battles against fear and battles against the great dark. So, was Christmas enough? Is there hope enough for us in 2021? Is there Jesus enough to show us the way? The Apostle Peter calls Jesus our living hope. Peter says we can live with great expectation because we have a future beyond the reach of change, decay, or darkness. But more than that, Peter says that through faith, God is protecting us with his power. I think Peter is trying to say that there is a life beyond this life while we wait for a better future. And while we wait, our faith is enough. Our faith is better than gold. There's nothing more valuable than our faith. No one can buy our faith or steal our faith or take our faith away from us. Our faith is God's gift to us, and it is secure within us. Our faith is why we can get up in the morning and just do another day. It's our secret power. And even if the candle of our faith is barely flickering, it's still more than enough to hold off the darkness. I think when Jesus came to live among us, his light was so bright that we are still living in the afterglow of that light and his love for us. We still see it in the faces of the people that we are around, the people that hold on to this faith despite every obstacle. We can see it in the saints around us. I can see it this morning in the worship team as they are here in this busy season, that there is faith enough to hold us. That's why we reaffirm in our benedictions, may the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Bible says that faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. Our faith is why the church, despite the sin of its people or the restraints to fully meet in person, is a gift. The church is the power of God working despite our weaknesses. It's the power of God writing a story of grace in us and rising up like the wings of the dawn, never to lose hope. So is there enough Jesus to show us the way? I think so. Frederick Buechner, a favorite writer of mine, says to wait for Christ to come in his fullness is not a passive thing, a pious thing, a prayerful thing. To wait for Christ to come in his fullness is above all else to act as Christ representatives as fully as we know how. To wait for Christ is to be Christ healing and hope for all who need it, because unless we bring it, it may never be brought at all. Mary Kay Jarrett is a friend of mine. She was married to Dean, her husband, for 28 years. And this was her Instagram post just 2 weeks ago. Today marks the anniversary of Dean leaving this earth. I pray God will use this loss to create in me a more profound and empathetic way of living, more fully present each day and loving people well. If so, then this sorrow will not be wasted, Losing him brought indescribable sadness, but loving and being loved by him gave me joy like no other. And that is forever. Mary Kay told me that as she stood by Dean's graveside, she told her children that hope can still come from this. To wait for Christ is to be Christ, healing and hope for all who need it. Because unless we bring it, it may never be brought at all. And that is forever love. So is there enough Jesus for you and for me? I think so. And as we wait for the fullness of God's promise to be revealed to us, may we encourage one another as little faith in our great God. Don't let your failures or your doubts separate you from the God in the new year. Your battles are not a secret to Jesus. His love for you took Jesus all the way to the cross. And let his love be your battle armor against despair and doubt. So bring it on, 2021. Bring it on. And may you find faith enough, friends, light enough, and love enough to guide you home.